Hey, what's up? Welcome to the Unnatural Mom. I am your host, Tam Anderson, and today we're diving into a topic that's deeply personal for me, and that's becoming a mom on your own by choice. Basically, solo, not sorry. So, what happens when you feel the undeniable pull to be a mother, but you don't have a partner? Today's episode is all about what it means to say yes to motherhood anyway. So, just a little bit about me. Again, first of all, if you don't know, the Unnatural Mom podcast is a podcast dedicated to those mothers that have become mothers the unnatural way. That means you did not give birth, but you are still a mother, whether it's through adoption or foster care or surrogacy, you're a stepmom. However, you became a mother, this podcast is for you. So, a little about me. For as long as I can remember, I always wanted to be a mom. I think in my mind, I wanted to be a mom at like 25 years old. Have two children, be married, super successful and everything. And then, life happens and they don't go the way that, things don't go the way that you think they're going to go. Because at 25, I'm from Memphis, and at 25, I just upped and moved to LA because I was going to be a singer and an actress. So I'm not thinking about being a mother at all. I'm like, my career is going to pop off. I'm going to be the next Whitney Houston. I'm going to be famous. I'm going to be rich. And yeah, I'm not thinking about motherhood. But then you look up and now you're 35 and you're 36 and you're like, whoa. So I started building a career. I got into marketing. I worked for some extremely wonderful companies in entertainment marketing. And so I was focusing on that. But like I said, you get older and you realize, like, hey, wait a minute, there's something missing. And for me, it was having a baby. So I was not in a relationship. And one day I looked up and realized that time was just moving on without me. And I'm like, wow, I really, really, really desire that. I really want that. So I made a decision and I just stopped waiting. And I tried IUI, which is artificial insemination. Tried it twice. Unfortunately, it didn't work. Now that process is crazy in itself because you're literally going to because I didn't have a partner, and some people do this very differently. But my story is that because I did not have a partner, wasn't in a relationship, I decided to go to a sperm bank. So I'm literally flipping through the catalog and picking the person that I think would be a great sperm donor for this baby that I want to have. So like I said, I did it twice. It didn't work. And so I'm just trying to figure out, like, yo, what is going on? I thought that everything could work. My doctor said everything looked good. And I don't know if it's because I have endometriosis. That's why, it possibly didn't work. Endometriosis can cause infertility, although my doctor did say that still everything looked good. The eggs looked good. I did everything that I was supposed to do. Unfortunately, the odds weren't in my favor. So the next plan for me was IVF. Talking to the doctor, going over everything that's involved with that process, the money as well, the financial burden that's going to be 25, 30, 45, however much it costs, the injections of the process, everything that you have to do. That was a possibility for me. But eventually, I turned to foster care and adoption, and that's how I met my wonderful son. And from that, my world definitely changed forever. But let me tell you, this decision was a roller coaster full of emotions. The decision came with a lot of fear and doubt and a whole lot of questioning because, and maybe you don't know, adoption is wonderful. And people adopt in different ways. You can adopt privately, meaning that you pay X amount of money, you go with an agency, you have a mother that is giving up that child, you get that child when that child is a baby, you pay the money, and then that baby is yours. It's not just as black and white as that, but that's kind of it, and that's kind of it. But for me, as trying to go through the state, there is a whole process in which you have to um, sign up to do this. Then you have to take all of these classes. You have to do a whole bunch of home studies, a lot of paperwork and everything that's involved with that. But I did it. I was dedicated and I said, I want to do this. But the possibility of this doing this alone was definitely on my mind. I want to be a mother. Can I really do this alone? Would I be enough for a child? I definitely wanted a partner and it just wasn't in the cards for me at that time. But, I figured I had to do what I had to do to get what it is that I want. But I also, in this process, discovered a version of myself that I didn't know existed. And that was I'm courageous, I'm fierce, and I'm grounded. And I set my mind on something and I said I wanted to be a mother and I did everything possible to make that happen. And when I got that phone call saying we have a wonderful 2-year-old little boy that's waiting to be adopted with the parental rights terminated, that's all that I needed. And I got that. And I did it because I was dedicated. I was putting myself out there, and that was my mission. But you know what? There's so many ways to become a mom on your own. Like I said, you have IUI. It's definitely quick and emotional, but you have IVF, and that's physically and financially demanding. Adoption, of course, like I said, you can do it in so many different ways, and people do this all the time for various reasons. Whether they just decided they didn't want to have a child, when they were younger, they may, or maybe they couldn't have a child. Everybody's, journey to motherhood is quite different. I can only speak to mine, and in other episodes of this show, we'll definitely have guests on who talk about their journey and the challenges and everything. But at the end of the day, the one thing that happens is that it leads to unconditional love, and you eventually get that child, that baby that you've always wanted. But I do want to just talk about some of the myths and misconceptions. I want to break some things down. First of all, first and foremost, children need love, not necessarily two parents. It would be wonderful and ideal to have two parents, of course, mother, father. That's perfect, but that's not necessarily needed. Children need love, whether it's from two parents or one parent. So choosing motherhood for me isn't selfish. It wasn't selfish. I think it's brave. And if you're doing that, I think it's super, super brave. And doing it alone doesn't mean that you're alone forever. You can definitely build a village, which is what I did. I built a village from my friends, from my family, to my current boyfriend, future husband. But that's what you have to do. It may start out as a very, very lonely process in the beginning, but it doesn't have to stay that way. You have a support system. I had a friend, my best friend at the time, she actually lived with me, and she was there on a day-to-day basis for me. And I needed that. That support meant everything for me. The godmother of my son. And, some people don't get that. Some people are out there struggling to just do everything alone and they don't have anyone. So when you can get a strong support system, when you can get a village, that can mean the world. A lot of people don't have that. Even when you give birth, some people don't have a village. So that's a blessing in itself. I found the strength in the community and the peace and knowing that I didn't have to do this all alone. And asking for help is definitely key. So I just want to know, first of all, and tell you this, that you have your village. That's important. You're not alone. And if you are, you lean on your friends, lean on your neighbors, you lean on people that's in your church, even if you have friends that are coworkers that are willing to help. I think that's important. You don't have to do this thing alone. But I want to let any woman that's watching and listening to this, and I want to encourage you. And if you're on the edge of this decision, I want to let you know that I see you. I was you, and you don't have to wait for the perfect time or the perfect partner. You only need the courage to trust your heart. Your motherhood story is already powerful, just as it is, as mine. So being a solo parent is not the end all be all. You want to go into this, of course, mother, father, that's the perfect picture. But you are enough. You are more than enough. So I just wanted to have this podcast to dedicate this to just those solo mothers out there that's holding it down. When you make a decision that you want to be a mother, that's the best decision ever. It's not determined if you have a partner. You are more than enough. You can do this. You got this. I'm you. You're me. We're in this together. This is a community. And I'm going to have some wonderful guests coming up who are going to tell their story. I'm super excited that, from foster care, I'm looking to have those men there that are definitely unnatural dads, didn't give birth, but they're still there in the father way. This story is just, so amazing and so important across the board for all of those people that don't do it the natural way. But yet and still, you have love in your heart, and you're providing that love to a child that desperately needs it, especially when you come into the foster care. I've talked about children that get into the foster care system because of like horrible situations in regards to like abuse, physical, sexual, mental. Parents are incarcerated, parents are in drugs. The process for that is like always reunification. And so it's a good story, but also can be terrible stories for those foster care parents that want to eventually adopt. And you can literally have a child that you're taking care of, and you've had that child for maybe 1 year, 2 years, and then the parent gets themselves together, and you have to give that child up. That's a story that, whoo, that's a hard one. I'm gonna have some people on that's gonna talk about that and how that affected them, because I know for me, when I went into this process, I did not necessarily want to be a foster parent. I wasn't interested in getting children, giving children back, getting children, giving children back. That wasn't for me because I can be emotionally attached. And even having a child for a couple of weeks, I can be emotionally attached. So I can't even imagine or fathom 2 years. And you get this baby, and you raise this baby for X amount of time, and next thing you know, you have to give that baby up. I don't think that I can do that, but there are so many amazing foster parents out there that are doing that. And when I want to say bravo to you, kudos to you, because it takes a lot to have that connection that you see every day, you bond with, and then you have to hand that child over. That's an emotional a type of emotion that I just couldn't deal with. So kudos to you for those foster parents that are out there that are doing that. It's amazing. Your stories are amazing. Being on this journey is amazing. I see you. You are so important and so needed, and these children need you. So I thank you all for watching this episode, the fourth episode of The Unnatural Mom. It's only going to get better with time, but I definitely want you guys to like this video, subscribe to this video on YouTube where you're watching it now. Share it. Tell somebody to tell somebody to tell somebody else. Put your comments below. I want to hear your thoughts and let me know what you think about everything that's happening. And I want to hear your stories as well. So I always appreciate you guys for tuning in. I love you all so very, very much. Oh, yes, of course, I have to always say that this show is always brought to you by Tam Jam Candles, my Tam Jam Candles company, in which I make 100% soy candles. I make them based on my love for music. Like I said in the beginning, I did want to be Whitney Houston. I am a singer, but my love for music and my love for candles is meshed together with this particular candle line. But I also make personalized candles. I can make whatever you want. Just go to tamjamcandles.com. Made with love. They are definitely made with love. So I appreciate you. I love you all so much. Thank you for watching. Until the next time, if you're on this journey of motherhood, you're doing amazing. I love you. That child loves you. And kudos to you. And you're a mother and you made it. And that's the most important thing. So until we see each other next Thursday, I hope you have a wonderful day. Peace out. It's your girl, Tam.